Our hero is Rico, a charming and quick-witted street food chef who travels around the world in his trusty van selling delicious dishes from his mobile kitchen. But Rico isn't just any ordinary chef. He has a gift for taking simple ingredients and turning them into gourmet meals that tantalize the taste buds and leave his customers wanting more. His secret is a mysterious cookbook passed down to him by his grandmother, which contains recipes from all over the world and through time. Each dish has its own unique story and cultural significance, and Rico is passionate about sharing them with everyone he meets. One day, while rum family, Rico stumbles upon an old and abandoned food cart in a junkyard. It's covered in rust and cobwebs, and no one seems to know where it came from or where it's going. But something about the cart intrigues Rico, so he takes it back to his shop to clean it up and see if he can make it work. Little does he know that this food cart is no ordinary piece of junk. It's a magical artifact that allows its user to travel through time and space. And soon, Rico will find himself on an incredible journey through history that will test his skills, courage, and determination like never before. Each episode of Time-Traveling Street Chef takes our hero to a different time and place, from ancient Rome to medieval Japan. From the roaring 20s in New York City to the Wild West of the 1800s, in every adventure, Rico uses his culinary skills to help the people around him and solve their problems. He faces dangerous challenges and battles evil villains who threaten the balance of history. But through it all, he stays true to his values and never gives up hope. As Rico travels through time, he learns more about the origins of his grandmother's cookbook and the secrets of the universe itself. He meets fascinating historical figures and witnesses important events firsthand. Along the way, he makes new friends who become part of his extended family and help him on his mission. And though he often struggles to fit in and faces prejudice because of his modern appearance and ideas, Rico never loses his cool and always finds a way to connect with others through food and understanding. With stunning visuals, fast-paced action, and a heartwarming message about the power of food and family, Time-Traveling Street Chef is sure to delight audiences of all ages and backgrounds. Whether you're a foodie, a history buff, or just looking for a fun and exciting show to watch, Time-Traveling Street Chef has something for everyone. So grab some snacks, sit back, and get ready to embark on a wild ride through time and taste the flavors of history with Rico and his amazing crew. Now let's cook up some magic. See a bustling night market in modern-day Bangkok, Thailand. Stalls overflow with colorful foods and energetic vendors hawk their wares to the crowds of happy customers. We find Rico behind his van serving up his famous pad thai with a smile and a joke for everyone who lines up to try it. His easy charm and skill in the kitchen have made him a favorite at these markets, and his reputation as a top-notch street food chef precedes him. But Rico isn't satisfied with just feeding the masses. He dreams of traveling the world and discovering new flavors, ingredients, and cooking techniques. And he believes that his late grandmother's mysterious cookbook holds the key to unlocking those adventures. Little does Rico know that his world is about to change forever. As he closes up shop for the night, a wizened old woman approaches him. She introduces herself as Madame G and reveals that she's known Rico's grandmother and has been watching over him from afar. She tells him that he's the only one who can save the world from a great evil that threatens to destroy everything. Madame G hands over a strange device that looks like an old compass and tells him to follow its guidance. With a cryptic warning that time is running out, Rico is confused and scared, but determined to do whatever it takes to honor his grandmother's memory and protect the world. As he follows the compass, it leads him to an abandoned junkyard filled with rusty old machines and forgotten treasures. There he discovers a beautiful antique food cart covered in vines and cobwebs. Intrigued, Rico clears away the debris and finds that the cart is intricately carved with mysterious symbols that seem to glow faintly. When he touches the cart, a surge of energy flows through him, and flashbacks reveal that this cart has traveled through time in different hands, helping people and bringing joy wherever it goes. Suddenly, the cart activates and whisks Rico away on an adventure he never imagined possible. The camera pans away from the junkyard to reveal a breathtaking vista of a sprawling Roman city. We then cut to Rico, who finds himself in ancient Rome during the height of its glory, still holding his modern smartphone and surrounded by people in togas who stare at him in amazement. Confused and overwhelmed, Rico quickly hides his phone and tries to blend in. but his modern appearance and mannerisms make him stand out. To make matters worse, he's being pursued by two burly Roman guards who think he's a spy or a troublemaker. Rico has to use all his wits and charm to escape their clutches and figure out where he is and how he got there. Meanwhile, we learn that the Roman emperor's daughter, Julia, is getting ready for a special feast in his honor. But the royal chef has just come down with a sudden illness, and no one can replace him. If they can't serve an exquisite meal, the emperor could become suspicious and punish them all, desperate for a solution. Julia's advisor remembers seeing a strange foreigner wandering around the city and hatches a plan to recruit him as their last hope. He sends more guards after Rico, but also offers him a noble title and generous reward if he can save the day. Rico, intrigued by the challenge and needing money for his next ingredient, accepts the offer and heads to the palace to meet with Julia. At first, Julia doesn't trust Rico and thinks he's just another charlatan trying to scam the empire. But when she sees him whip up a batch of his famous pad thai in record time, her mind changes. She hires him on the spot and gives him access to the royal kitchens and exotic ingredients. But as Rico begins experimenting with new recipes, he faces resistance from the palace staff who resent his modern ideas and question his loyalty. To make things worse, the emperor's spies are closing in, and Rico has to prove himself not only as a talented chef, but also as a trustworthy ally. As the clock ticks and the feast approaches, Rico races against time to prepare a meal that will wow the emperor and earn him the respect of the entire court. Will he succeed in impressing the Romans? Or will his time-traveling adventure come to an end before it even begins? Stay tuned to find out. Rico stands in the center of a bustling marketplace in ancient Rome, surrounded by vendors and shoppers from all walks of life. He wears a toga over his chef's outfit and has learned to speak Latin, basic phrases like, "Where are the spices?" and "I need a table." Despite the language barrier, Rico's passion for food and his infectious enthusiasm shine through, and he manages to communicate with the locals and get what he needs to create his dishes. He gathers fresh vegetables and fruits, samples local cheeses and meats, and even tries his hand at catching a fish in the Tiber River while exploring the market. Rico meets a young Roman woman named Livia, who's helping her father sell pottery. She's curious about Rico and his strange ways and becomes his guide and interpreter as he continues his culinary quest. Together, they discover hidden gems like a secret garden filled with exotic plants and a mysterious apothecary that sells rare herbs and remedies. Through these encounters, Rico learns about Roman customs, beliefs, and values, and he adapts his recipes accordingly, incorporating local ingredients and techniques. For example, he uses a mortar and pestle to grind spices instead of his blender. He cooks over an open fire instead of his stove, and he serves his dishes on clay plates instead of his usual stainless steel trays. He also experiments with new flavors and textures, like the rich, creamy sauces and the hearty, rustic breads that are popular in Roman cuisine. As Rico prepares his Roman-inspired dishes, he faces several challenges and mishaps. For example, he accidentally spills wine on a senator's scroll, angering him. He gets lost in the labyrinthine streets and alleys, confusing the locals. He has to deal with hungry dogs and pesky beggars who try to steal his food. But through these obstacles, Rico remains optimistic and resourceful. He uses his quick wit and improvisational skills to diffuse tense situations. He makes new friends among the common folk who admire his courage and kindness. And he discovers that his time-traveling adventure is not just about food, but also about culture and community. As the feast approaches, Rico plates his dishes with care, arranging them on beautiful marble platters and garnishing them with fresh herbs and edible flowers. He presents each course with a flourish, explaining the inspiration behind his recipes and the techniques he used. The emperor is impressed by the presentation and intrigued by the exotic flavors. But it's the common folk who are the most delighted by Rico's creations. They cheer and applaud, praising his skill and creativity. And Rico feels a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, knowing that he's brought joy to so many people. But suddenly, a group of assassins bursts into the courtyard, led by a mysterious figure wearing a black hood. They attack the emperor's guards and try to poison the emperor's wine. Rico reacts quickly, using his martial arts training to disarm the assassins and switching the poisoned wine with an unspilled bottle. A fight ensues, but Rico proves to be a match for the attackers. He uses his agility, strength, and strategy to defeat them one by one, protecting the Emperor and earning the gratitude of the crowd. In the aftermath of the attack, Rico is hailed as a hero, and the Emperor rewards him with a golden laurel wreath and a noble title. But Rico is more interested in uncovering the identity of the mastermind behind the plot. With Livia's help, he investigates the assassins and discovers a conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of power in the Empire. Rico confronts the leader of the conspiracy, who turns out to be the Emperor's own brother, plotting to usurp the throne and plunge Rome into chaos. Rico exposes the traitor and helps restore order and stability to Rome. He gains the respect and admiration of the Emperor and the people, cementing his status as a legend. But Rico's adventure in ancient Rome is far from over. He still has to find a way to return to his own time and prevent the great evil that Madame G warned him about. As he bids farewell to Livia and the other Romans, he knows that he'll carry the lessons and memories of his time in ancient Rome with him wherever he goes. He also knows that his journey is just beginning, and that he has more adventures and challenges ahead of him. With a heavy heart, Rico says goodbye to Livia and the people of ancient Rome, promising to return someday. The cart activates and whisks him away to a new adventure in a different time and place. As Rico disappears, we see Livia standing alone in the marketplace, watching him go. She feels a sense of loss and longing, but also hope and excitement for Rico's future. She knows that he's destined for great things, and that his time-traveling adventures will change the world for the better. She also knows that she'll never forget Rico and the love and laughter they shared in ancient Rome. And as the camera pans away, we see the golden laurel wreath on Rico's head, shimmering in the sunlight, symbolizing his heroism and his connection to ancient Rome.